This is your boy NY3, and this is the post-August ban list, post-Dark Illusions Zing Zefra Metalfoes deck list. First I'm going to go over it real quick, and then after that I'm going to go back and try and explain my ratios in more detail. So let's just get started with the list. The tuners are still maxed out. Triple Shiwen Light of the Yangzing, triple Jiao Darkness of the Yangzing. For the non-tuner Yangzings, we have a much larger lineup than before, running triple Pulau, triple Big C, triple Bien, and triple Suani. As for the Zefra pendulums, we are down to just 5, that is double Zefraxi, triple Zefranu. For the Metalfoes half, I'm running 11, starting off with 2 Steelin, 2 Silvered, triple Gold Driver, and triple Volflame. The 11th one being the one painful decision. The rest of the spells, I have 1 Oracle of Zefra, 1 Soul Charge, double Yangzing Path, and an Ignite Reload. The traps, double Metalfoes Combination, Yangzing Creation, and the Zefra Divine Strike. That's all for the main deck, totaling 43. The extra deck, we have Herald for the 4, Chambra for the 5, Horus for the 6, Yazi and Ancient Fairy for the 7, Ignista, triple Baxia, 1 Psyframe Lord Omega, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, Void Ogre Dragon, Trishula, and Chaofeng. The final extra deck monster is our Exceed monster, number 38, Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. That's all for the deck profile. Side deck would most likely be covered about 1 month from now when the meta fully establishes itself. Now to explain the ratios, starting from the extra deck first. Herald is still the best 4, you have to run it. It's part of a lot of our first turn combos, and its banishing effect just wrecks quite a lot of decks. Chambra, filling the level 5 spot, is still the best level 5, and I still run it since it allows your pendulum summon to be the bait while letting you OTK off a single Jiao 2 resolution really easily. The Horus still gets you out of a lot of difficult scenarios, which is why I run it over pretty good level 6 synchro candidates out there. Yazi is self-explanatory. Ancient Fairy Dragon is here almost exclusively for the Crystal Wing combo, since we are only running 1 field spell in our main deck. Now this is also a good time to explain why I dedicated the 2 extra deck spots to Ancient Fairy Crystal Wing instead of a second rank 8 plus the Orichalc for the Orichalc combo, or another rank 8 and another rank 4 for the Master Pendulum combo. Now both of these combos, one requiring Metalfoes Fusion, the other requiring Master Pendulum, although it makes your combo better by upping it from 3 negates to 4 negates, it does however contribute to another brick card in your main deck, which works out to approximately decrease your combo chance by 3%. Sure, when you do combo, it makes your combos better, but I feel like it is not worth that minus 3% chance in the ability to combo in the first place. The Ancient Fairy and Crystal Wing combo does not require you to run any additional brick cards in your main deck, which is why it is here. Now the Master Pendulum combo may be side decked. It's definitely something I'm considering, just because Abyss Dweller is such a blowout card in quite a few matchups. Ignista is still the best non-targeting, non-destruction removal. Still the best way to out things such as Chaos Max if you run into any Ritual Blue Eyes builds, or Cosmo Dark Planet. The 3 Baxias are very standard, no explaining required. The Cyframe Lord Omega is one of the optional cards in the extra deck, but it's just one of the best generic synchros out there. Crystal Wing I've explained along with Ancient Fairy before. Void Ogre, still a great combo end result card. Trishula is here, since when you end with Pulau, Jiaotu, Zefra is one of the potential options that you can make in that specific combo. The one Chaofeng is very standard to end games, and the one Hope Harbinger still better than Falgran overall, although you can run a second rank 8 if you want to. Now the trap lineup, the only 2 Metalfoes spell trap search target being 2 combinations. Now I picked this over 1 combination, 1 fusion, despite the fact that fusion is going to let us grind a lot more efficiently, allowing infinite resolutions of Metalfoes scale effects, and giving us pretty much 2 draw phases every turn in the grind game. The combination just far outclasses fusion if you only look at the first turn, which is going to be much more in current Yu-Gi-Oh! The second combination is required for quite a few different combos, as well as if you open combination Jiaotu and 2 Yang Zings. By running 2 combination, you are guaranteed to complete your scale instead of trying your luck with the fusion draw 1. I'm running 2 instead of 3 spell and trap search targets. Like I have said before, if you run 1 extra brick in your deck, that is going to decrease your combo rate from approximately 64% down to 61% just by running 1 extra brick card. Now the Yangzing creation, I feel like is best going into a diverse and not established meta. The spot used to be Prana when Fiend was big. Prana's plus 500 is slightly less useful. Other potential cards that can fill the spot can be a Taotai, which gives you another level to make certain level synchros with, or the third Yangzing path, but I don't feel like that's necessary since I am running the Omega, which can recycle paths if you ever get that late into the game where you run out of paths and still haven't won. The Zefra Divine Strike, again, you have to run at least 1 for the combos. It still sucks to draw it, although it sucks less since our combos predominantly 4 card instead of 5 card combos, so you are allowed to draw it and still combo now. I'm not running 2 because that would mean running an extra brick, and running that extra brick is going to decrease our combo chance by a whole 3%, which I don't feel is worth it. Now the spell lineup, the one Oracle is still great. It searches a Yangzing when you need to discard it, and it searches a scale if you need to complete your scale. It's still a great card to pop with Baxia instead of popping your scales, and its stacking effect is always quite good to Seigok your way out of negators. The Yangzing path at 2 I've already talked about briefly. The one Ignite Reload, it's a great card that helps you unbrick Metalfoe heavy hands to let you draw your Yangzings you want to discard with Jiaotu. I'm only running 1 because if you run 2, you have approximately a 1% chance to open both, and since you can only use 1 Ignite Reload per turn, you just needlessly increase the brick chance of your deck by 1% if you run 2 of these. Same thing with Oracle of Zefra, you never want to open 2, since you're only allowed to activate 1 Oracle of Zefra per turn. Now path, I don't want to drop it down to 1 because Zefra new targets are already very low in this deck. We only have 5, including Creation and the Divine Strike. Right now, any lower, you needlessly devalue your Zefra new searching. Also, we need a high enough Yangzing count for the overall Yangzing ratio, which I will talk about later. Now, Soul Charge is a very interesting one. This is the only card in the deck which is here that does not focus on turn 1. Now, the good thing about Soul Charge is that it can be good on turn 1. It can extend combos and it can recover you from Effect Veiler on Gel 2. However, the bad thing is Soul Charge does contribute to bricks more than it contributes to helping you. Now, I mentioned that the combo chance of this deck is 64% going in first. If you open Soul Charge and 4 random cards, the combo chance of this deck decreases to 59%, since Soul Charge to combo requires you to either open the combo already, being 1 Metalfoes, 3 Yang Zings, or if you open 2 Yang Zings, at least one of which are poppable, and 2 Metalfoes, or 3 Metalfoes, and 1 poppable Yang Zing, that's when Soul Charge shines. If you open Gel 2, Yang Zing discards and no scales, Soul Charge is great there as well. But when you open hands such as Soul Charge, one of our brick cards such as Metalfoes combination, 2 Yang Zings and 1 Metalfoes, Soul Charge contributed to that brick. Since you're not guaranteed to draw Soul Charge in every single opening hand, it is obviously not as bad as decreasing the deck's combo chance all the way down to 59%. By running Soul Charge, the deck's combo rate, first turn combo chance decreased by about 0.7%. All of these percentages are in vacuums, Soul Charge being able to recover you from devastating Effect Veilers turn 1, and of course we're not going to win all the dice rolls and we're not going to be going first every single game. Soul Charge is a great counter to back row, and is a great recovery option to top deck. Now, most of the Yang Zing options are quite self-explanatory. The double Zefra again is to increase the overall Yang Zing count of the deck to maintain a specific ratio, which I'll talk about later. And the Metalfoes, the 11th choice of 11 Metalfoes is also to maintain that specific ratio. I have chosen to triple on the gold drivers and bow flames instead of the Steelin and Silvers, because outside of a combo scenario, you would want the higher attack beaters. Whereas within a combo scenario, even though Steelin and Silvad lets you make the synchros you want to, and in combo scenarios you can always search the Steelin or Silvad. Painful Decision is also a card that you can only activate one of once per turn, so the same argument for Painful Decision, Ignite Reload and Oracle of Zefra also applies to Painful Decision. You don't want to have that 1% chance to open 2 of it, and it's not that much better than a Metalfoes to begin with, so you might as well increase the Metalfoes count all the way to 12 before you start considering the second Painful Decision. Now the large Yang Zing count. This is as big of a Yang Zing count as ever. Now Pulau at 3. I don't think Pulau has ever been ran at 3 in any variant ever since Yang Zings came out in Duelist Alliance. But in this build, you want to maximize the poppable Yang Zings before you start running the other Yang Zings. This large lineup is also important to maintain the Yang Zing to Metalfoes ratio. Now, next I want to talk about the choice of 43 cards instead of an as low as minimum count of 39 cards. Now, we have quite a few brick cards that we do not want to draw, namely Oracle of Zefra and Metalfoes combinations in the deck. And by lowering the deck size, we essentially are increasing the chance of us drawing that. Whether we run 39 cards or 60 cards, we only need to run 3 brick cards. Running a higher deck count does not mean you have to run another Divine Strike or another Metalfoes Fusion or something along those lines. The higher the deck count, the less we draw these cards. But I think the limit on how high we can go before we suffer consistency issues is 43. Doing a bit of statistical analysis on the deck, 43 is the turning point of when adding a card decreases our combo chance more than it decreases us drawing a brick card. And the limiting factor is obviously not the number of Metalfoes, because we can run 2 more Metalfoes and 2 more painful decisions. We have not reached the limit on Metalfoes yet. We have not reached the limit on the number of Yang Zing cards. Since we have not put in the Tau ties yet, we can always put in the 3rd Zefra, we can put in another Oracle or 2, 3rd Yang Zing Path, some more creations, etc. So this limit has not been reached as well. But which limit have we reached? The limit that we have reached is this limit. The number of poppable Yang Zings we can pop to get to Jiao 2. Increasing the deck size even more means we open at least one of these guys to pop with our Metalfoes scales less and less. And at 44 cards and above, this is more significant than the consistency increase that we see from decreasing the chance to draw our brick cards. Now next is the ratio of Yang Zings to Metalfoes. Now just starting off with a 40 card deck, to optimize the ratios, the chance of you opening 1 or more Metalfoes should be equal to the chance of you opening 3 or more Yang Zings. Now this is a theory I have for all combo decks that require 2 or more different combo pieces to go off. So this leads me to believe that the minimum ratio you should be running for this deck, if you're running 40 for example, you should be running at least 8 Metalfoes scales, 24 Yang Zing cards, and the other 8 are completely optional on what you want to accomplish with the deck. Of course, at least 2 of them are going to have to be Metalfoes spell and traps. You want to have at least 1 Divine Strike in it. So in that 24, 8, and 8 ratio, depending on what direction you want to take the deck, it can be board breakers such as Dark Holes, etc. if you're afraid of going second. Or it could be hand traps again if you're afraid of going second. These could be traps such as Solemn Strike if you want to improve your going first game. Or these could be, another 2 Yang Zings and another Metalfoes scale if you want to improve your combo consistency. The 8-24-8 ratio for Yang Zings to Metalfoes to other cards is the most basic ratio that a Yang Zing Metalfoes deck should meet. Now the ratio in this build is obviously the 11 Metalfoes, now opening at least 1 Metalfoe in a 43 card deck works out approximately to be the same as the chance to open 3 or more Yang Zings in a 43 card deck if you run 27 Yang Zings. So the 24-8 ratio or 25-9 ratio in a 40 card deck that I just talked about. In the 43 card deck, I went with the 11-27 ratio. Now this ratio only holds true if you are going first. If you are going second, the chances of opening 3 or more Yang Zing cards is actually greater than the chance of opening 1 or more Metalfoes card. This is with a 6 card hand instead of a 5 card hand. So just in a vacuum, if you want to keep that ratio going second, you would want to side out 2 Yang Zings. However, this is dependent on the matchup, what exactly you side out. If you're versing a deck that mains or can potentially side Anti-Spell Fragrance, you probably want to side out a bit more Metalfoes, spells, or scales instead of Yang Zings. If you're versing a deck which likes to make things such as Dark Law a lot, then you obviously want to side out Yang Zing floaters more than our Pendulum monsters. Obviously does not run board breakers and does not run additional traps such as Solemn Strikes. So we are maximizing the engine, maximizing the combo potential when going first. as well as maximizing the chance of you killing your opponent if your opponent does not set up a very strong defensive board when going second. Now, the additional traps and the additional combo breakers I have decided to keep in the side instead of maining them, but this obviously heavily depends on the worldwide and the local meta that you are in. For example, if everyone is playing Blue Eyes, they love to drop first turn Spirit Dragon, and Spirit Dragon pretty much completely seals off this deck, then it might be time to consider running maining cards such as Book of Eclipse and whatnot to counter that, which is hopefully what I will be talking about in the next update, where I cover the side deck, and depending on how the meta shapes up, will also be an update to the main deck choices. But as for now, not really knowing what you are going to be playing against every round, it is best to increase the consistency and the power of your own deck instead of running cards to decrease the consistency or power of your opponent's deck. But that is all for this video. TLDW, 27 Yang Zings, 11 Metalfoes, and these 5 other pretty good cards.